Hello and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. That's right, it's that time again. Comes around really quick, doesn't it? But welcome to the show. I'm so glad you've got time to join me today because this is going to be a fantastic session because this recipe is to die for. It is the chicken and bacon pasta bake. Now, it's out of book 7, which is a fantastic book, and here is the bake that we'll be making today. Now, this recipe is not hard to make. It's a bit of chopping up, chuck it in the pot and cook it. But you can also get it out of the cooking for 1 or 2. So this, in the bigger book, number 7, it serves 6 people, whereas in this book it serves only 2. So, it depends on how many of you are at home for dinner tonight. So before we get into the show, let's talk about last week's Jam Drop winners, and that was Jodie Baston, Barbara Griffin and Nicole Robson. So well done, girls. You've all got a copy of book 4 in the mail, personally signed by me. And of course, today you could either win book 7 or the Cooking for 1 or 2 book. So, okay, I have preheated my oven to 180 degrees fan 4, so it's all ready to go. We're going to need, what I've done here is I've done my pasta ahead because it needs to be, cooked. So you'd actually only use 1.5 cups of raw pasta, and that's what you get. So that's all ready to go. So I'm just going to put that to the side because you add that in at the end. Now, ingredients, we need onion, mushrooms, enough for 2 cups, and you don't slice them. You actually cut them in quarters, and if they're really big mushrooms, maybe make it 6. We need some of the beautiful lean bacon shortcuts. So we want 90 grams of bacon, a bunch of fresh asparagus, and I will tell you about variations if you're going, ooh, I don't like asparagus. You've got some carrots, chicken breast, garlic, oregano, evaporated milk. I'm going to use a couple of sachets of the cream of chicken cuppa soup, and what's lovely about that is it helps build the flavours and gives it that creamy texture we love in a bake. Now, I'm also going to put in some skim milk, so there's evaporated milk and skim milk going in this recipe. I've got some corn flour, which helps to thicken it up a little bit, and pepper, and we've got some of the low-fat cheese grated already. I've just freshly grated it, ready to go on top of the bake. So, and I've got my bake tray. That's actually the picture. This is the one that I'll be using today, and it's the one that's in the actual book as well. So it's a big lasagna dish. Okay, so what we're going to do, and I've got my cooking spray here ready to go as well. Let's start chopping. I think that's the best thing to do. So I'm going to show you with the asparagus. The key is that you don't want these end bits. They're quite woody and they're not pleasant to eat. So, and depending on the size of your asparagus, I would say it's about 5 centimetres. You want to cut that off. And you chuck it out. That's right, boo, it's gone. So now what you're going to do is cut them about 3 centimetres, and they go in right at the very end. Okay, so there's my asparagus chopped, 1 done. Now we're going to do the carrot. We want 1.5 cups of diced carrot. And I don't take the skin off. I don't peel the carrots anymore. I think they're quite clean these days. Years ago, they used to be brown because of all the dirt on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my carrots in half. Probably won't need all of the carrots. And then I'm going to cut them in 3. And this way, you'll get the dice. And they won't be really big dices because otherwise it will just take forever to cook. So we need 1.5 cups. So let me get my measure cup here so I can see what I'm doing. And just small dice. You don't want them too big because it'll take forever to cook. Now, I've got to tell you, a lovely lady was talking to me today about this recipe. And, I'm all about variations. I think they're always, great to have different options for your recipes so you can make them different. And she was saying that she didn't have some of the ingredients when she made it, so she improvised, and instead of the carrots, she did pumpkin. How cool is that? And then she didn't have asparagus either, so she put in peas. So there you go. It's called improvise. Do it how you want to do it. I like it this way, but of course you can change it any way you like. Another way you can vary it, the variation is because you don't want asparagus. Not everybody loves asparagus. And what you do with asparagus is swap it for the peas. That's a good idea. You could also swap it for beans, green beans, because they're kind of that length as well, which I kind of like, cut them that length, so they're like a little bit like the look of the asparagus. Or you could do it with celery. I know other people have done it with celery. All right, so we want 1.5 cups. See how we're going. I think all of this is going to probably will fit. Here we go. Might as well throw that little bit in. Okay, they're done. So let's put them in the bowl. Next we're going to do the mushrooms. So we want 2 cups. So if they're a bit big, I'd say cut them in 6. Because sometimes they can be quite small, like that's small. I would cut that in 1/4. Same with that one. Just, you know, use your own initiative with the size of the mushrooms. Now the good news is that this is way lower in fat than the normal chicken bacon bake. A lot of times people, when they make this recipe, is they'll use oil to cook everything in. And then they'll probably still use the chicken breast. I just hope they take the skin off. But then they'll add quite fatty bacon to the recipe, and as well cream. They'll put cream in the recipe and a bucket load of full fat cheese. So there we go. That's why my version is, 8 grams of fat. Their way, you know, the high fat way, is at least 30, 100%. It's not great. I've got a few more mushies here, so I might just put them over here. And then we have, so we've got our celery, carrots, asparagus. I've got my mushrooms done. Now I've just got to do the onion, and we want 3/4 of a cup of diced. So we'll just do it the Annette way. Get that sharp neoflam knife in. The point is the really great part of doing onions. Get it really sharp and fabulous. And that's right, we need 3/4 of a cup, remember? So let me get my little cup measure here. And then that's pretty well all the veggies ready to go. And we just got to then dice up our chicken and our bacon. I don't know, when you say the words chicken, bacon, pasta, bake, I just think, what a fabulous combination. So hello, if you've just joined me, yes, I'm in the kitchen. Where have you been, Dal? We've already chopped up carrots and asparagus and everything. You're missing everything. But today the recipe is, what is it? Chicken and bacon pasta bake. That's right. So it's out of book 7 and also in the Cooking for 102. So I'm going to swap boards over now because I'm going to dice up. So let's move this out of the way. So my onion's done. Now with the bacon, we're going to just dice it. It's 90 grams. And it's so lovely and lean, which is fantastic. That's what you want. You don't want to use the really fatty rasher part. You want that eye, the meat. And it's just so much better value as well. You're not paying for all that fat. And if you're like me, you're trying to sort of make sure you don't put on fat, so you don't want to be eating it. Not like that anyway. All right, so there's our bacon diced. Remember, what was that? 90 grams, that's right. We're getting through it. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'd really always look forward to catching up with you on a Thursday or a Tuesday as well. Now, the chicken. I might actually start my little trusty wok up here. I'll bring it over in a minute so you can see it, but I want to start the carrots. Now, with the Neoflam, remember you use the rice bran spray because that's what you use on, good quality pans. And what we're going to put in is a teaspoon of garlic. Let me turn that up a little bit. Come on, let's fire up the wok. So your teaspoon of garlic and the carrots. Yeah. Oh no, it's the bacon, Bill's telling me, because you do cook the carrots first, don't you? Yeah, no, sorry. Let me go back. This can come back in a minute. I'm rushing ahead. I've got to cook the bacon first, because, hello, we're cooking the bacon and the chicken. So that just can stay there. Thank you, Billy. What would I do without him? I mean, we had our fabulous wedding anniversary on Monday. Thank you for your lovely well wishes. We had a lovely afternoon out. We snuck out of work and left Diane to it. All right, so let's do the bacon. And now, while that's cooking, I'm going to chop the chicken. Okay, so I've got a huge chicken breast here, people. I mean, what are these chickens looking like before they get done? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half because that's just way too thick. And you don't want really big chunks of chicken in your bake. So I'm just going to cut that in strips. Oh my gosh, I can smell that bacon. Can you hear it sizzling? Love a good sizzle. And now just cut you've got your bacon in there now. And what it is we cook it all off ahead. You're just going to brown the chicken. Just don't do them in big dice. Take it out because we don't want it overcooking. And this is how this recipe works really well. So you cook the bacon, then you brown off the chicken and take it out, and then we start on with the carrots. Oh, I'm Russian. I'm Russian. All right, so hello, if you just joined me, I am making the chicken and bacon pasta bake out of book 7 and also in Cooking for 1 or 2. Okay, let's cook that off. And you just want to be able to brown off that bacon so it's lovely and cooked. And what I think this is fantastic is you can freeze it. So if you've got a bit left over, you can freeze it for a couple of weeks. You can't freeze it for a long time because of the milk in it. All right, so that bacon's done. I'll just put that in this dish here. My gosh, this cooks up quick in the wok, doesn't it? It's fabulous. And now we're going to do the chicken. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in, and I'll bring it over in a sec. Just put the chicken in. Keep it a little bit at a time. You know how I do it. And we can get rid of this now because everything's ready. I'm going to just wash my hands. And in we go. So let's move this. That bacon can go over here. And we are sizzling away. Alrighty, so now one of the great things about book 7, if you don't have it, you're really missing out because it has a gluten-free section in it, which is to die for. I mean, even if you don't care about gluten, you're still going to want to cook these recipes. They're so amazing. But it also has a Bonza burger section because, I'm sorry, I'm a proud Aussie and I love my burgers, and so I've given you a whole section dedicated to burgers. I know. All right. That is pretty well done. Don't you love it? It's so quick. In it goes. See, nothing sticks. I love the Neoflam pans. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to put the carrot in. Oh dear. Here we go. I get a bit excited. I'm ahead of myself here. So the garlic's still in there. So, okay, what have we done? We've cooked the bacon. We've cooked, browned off the chicken. Now what we're going to do is do all the veggies, and then we put everything all in the wok. And this is what I like about using the wok for this, because you're going to put even the pasta in. Everything goes in. So really, it's not going to have a lot of dishes for you. You're just going to have that one pan. Okay, so now what, to help the carrots cook, you put in a 1/4 cup of water. Let me put these over the sink. In my soapy sink. They can be soaking while I'm cooking. There we go. And having that bit of water in there will help soften and cook the carrots a bit, because there's nothing worse than chomp into something and you've got hard carrots. I'm not having it. All right, so now one of the things I love about asparagus, now this is my question to you. Are you going to put the asparagus in, or are you going to do another variation? Remember, the variation to it would be either the green beans, the celery, or you could do peas, as that lady did. But let me try and convince you about asparagus, because I've included here in the recipes a tip from a fabulous dietitian, Lisa, and she says asparagus is packed with antioxidants, ranking among the top fruits and vegetables for its ability to neutralise cell damage free radicals. I'm sorry, that's a bit fabulous. And research suggests that this slows down the ageing process. Hello, Billy. It's asparagus every day for us from now on. Thank you very much. All right, so now you put in the onion. Let's get a spoon. And this is why it's so good to chop everything up ahead. Don't chop it as you go, because you need to be able to put it all in, and boom, it'll be done before you know it. Now remember your oven, 180 degrees fan force, that's fabulous. And I think that what's really so great about this is that, everybody loves it. It's such a great recipe. Now the other thing is, now remember my question, what is it? Will you do the asparagus, or will you do a variation? Because I loved last week's show when I talked about, did you put the jam in your fridge or your pantry? It was very interesting, because I think the fridge did win, but a lot of people do it in the pantry, and some people say it's in the pantry till they open it. But yeah, I was very interested, because I think I'm a sticky beak. Yes, I want to know everything. In we go. Yep, mushrooms in. And so the other thing is, I just feel like we don't want to miss out on the food we love. When we're losing weight or on a health program, something like this, you might think, oh, how can I have a pasta bake? But there's just all goodness here. It actually is only 8 grams of fat a serve. Hello, that can fit into anyone's healthy program instead of at least, 30? But the other thing is, it's a low GI meal. So this is a great one for people with diabetes as well, which is wonderful. All right, now let's pour our milk into the bowl. So that's a cup of skim milk. We're going to add in a teaspoon of oregano. There we go. You're going to put in the corn flour, and then there's a teaspoon. Let's put that in. Where's my little scraper? Okay. What, darling? Phil's talking to me. Use the whisk, he says. Okay, so there's the corn flour in, and we want the 2 sachets. Let me just give my little veggies a toss. So let's do the 2 sachets of the soup. There we go. And this will really help bind it up a bit as well, give it some flavour. Can you grab me a whiskey, Bill? Can I have a whisk? Oh, there's one there. Oh, it just miraculously appeared. Oh, you're so fabulous, Bill. All right, so mix that in. In it goes. And then you're going to put your can, open your can of evaporated light. The whole can goes in this. Now, if you're making the version that's in the Cooking for 2, you only use like half a can, which is like 3/4 of a cup. But don't worry about that, because you'll see that there's loads of ways you can use that evaporated milk, and I even cover it in the front of the Cooking for 2, listing the different recipes that you can use leftovers in, like the evaporated milk and canned tomatoes and that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put some pepper in. It says 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We're going to now throw back in the chicken and the bacon. Got to get all that bacon in there, thank you very much. Let's get rid of all this. So we're going to mix that all up. Oh, it looks so good. And the last thing we're going to do before we put the pasta in is add in the asparagus. Now, asparagus doesn't take very long to cook, so it will cook because you're going to have this in the oven for about 30 minutes. So that's why I've saved it to the end and mix it through. So all we're doing now is waiting for this to boil. Have I got everything in? Yes, I've just got the cheese to go and the pasta. All right, so now let's put in the pasta. Now remember, this is enough for 6 people, so it's pretty well a complete meal, isn't it? I mean, you might want to put a bit of salad with it, or some other veggies on the side if you really wanted. And now it's just coated all. Oh, yum, chicken, bacon, pasta, bake. Book 7 and Cooking for 102. Mix that all in. I love bakes. I know that, you know, it's a very popular thing to have because they go so good with veggies or salad. But I don't know, it's just the concept of it. It's just different. And I think this one, I've got a few bakes. I've done lots of different bakes for you, so you don't miss out doing it the Annette way, that's for sure. Alrighty. And while I'm folding this through and mixing it all up, I want it to boil. Do you know what you've got to do if you want to win this, this recipe or the book? You know, book 7 or Cooking for 2. Hello, let me tell you while I'm waiting my little pot to boil, you need to like and share, and then in the comments, hello, you know what you got to do. Hashtag Symply Too Good. So it's hashtag Symply Too Good. Put that in the comments, and then you will hopefully be one of the lucky winners that I pick next week. Well, this is looking great. Yes. I mean, when you look at this sort of food, you just think, and I lose weight with this? Really, Annette? That's crazy. All right, so now, let's get it up and ready. Let me move this out of the way. Move my pan over. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pour all of this into the lasagna dish. There we go. How amazing is this? Yum. There we go. That's off, yep. Now what you do is spread it all out. Get it nice and flat. Like I'm looking here, there's not much asparagus over this side, so I tend to want everyone to get their little bit of asparagus. Okay, that is looking fabulous, and all we have to do now is just add some more fizzy to it, and that's by putting the reduced fat grated tasty cheese on the top. So this will take about 30 minutes in your oven. Remember, 180 degrees, fan forced. There we go. Looking a bit amazing here. Let's put this in the oven. Open that up. In we go. Oh, who wouldn't want that for dinner tonight? Yes, sirree, Bob. Now, let me show you the finished product, because I actually made it before using the Cooking for 102 version, and there it is. There it is baked. Now, you would normally have that cut in half, so you can see you get a good serve. I'm all about being fantastic. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Yes, chicken, bacon, pasta bake. And this is the little one for me and Billy, 1 and 2. So thanks for joining me, because you know what? I'm going to be back again on Tuesday, because you know I am. And what am I making Tuesday? Well, next week's a baking week, and I'm going into book 6, and I'm making the chocolate banana cake. This is such a delicious cake. So you need to be joining me on Tuesday. The recipe's on the website. So go there, download the recipe, buy the ingredients, get it all out, and let's make it together on Tuesday. How good is that? And then next Thursday, I'm making savoury scone scrolls. This is such a great way using, like scones can normally be a sweet thing, but who doesn't love savoury? So it's the savoury scone scrolls out of book 3. That's next Thursday. So make sure you're here. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I know we're going to enjoy dinner tonight for sure. Take care now.